An- Anger issues sometimes arise regarding addiction and substance abuse. Substance abuse transpires when an individual continues using substance despite the negative behavioral and habitual mood relation symptoms. These may include difficulty with decision making, impulse control, a deteriorating physical condition, social withdrawal, or irritable and anger outbursts. Anger for comes when they will no longer be able to function at school, work, or other places. While other abusers are concerned they will lose self-confidence or the ability to interact socially. After all, we have learned things differently. Now there is a need to become less normal. After all, we have all things learned that the need to become normal. One, we must identify the topics you can't work with because they cause emotional problems. You may not be able to finish certain tasks if you don't approach them with a clear focus. Two, choose things such as distractions that can get your mind off the stressful tasks so that you can go back to it and think more clearly. Three, recognize the specific task or situation where you're having a particularly hard time meeting expectations because limits are not learned to observe unless you see them with a clear conscience. 4. Remember you can control your mind. What seems obvious to you, even though it may not have been obvious at that particular time? After all, we are much clearer thinkers as we understand that which we know than what we don't know. Therapists generally classify anger as appropriate or inappropriate depending on how the outburst occurs. An inappropriate and healthy way to express anger is to let it go. 10 great tips to manage your anger. 1. Say, I make myself angry. No one has control of me. 2. Give it up to God and remember that everything is His. 3. Knowing that everything is God's, you can overlook what made you angry. 4. Recognize that the people do not make you angry. They are merely the ones we take it out on. 5. Lower your voice and even laugh at what you are mad about. 6. Recognize why you're hurt or the fear that caused anger. 7. Recognize that people abuse is simply to your own abuse. 8. Ask yourself if you're feeling angry as being helpless, you can solve the problem or make it worse. 9. Avoid letting past issues arise. The past is the past. Leave it there. 10. Learn to laugh at yourself a little, then say, this really does not need to make me upset. Due to certain strong episodes, pressure, and because of emotional and competitive situations, we find ourselves feeling unable to control our explosive anger. Aspects of our anger are decided by how we choose to relate to one another. Heartstrings play what we put into our brain. So be true and listen. You will discover more about yourself than you ever knew. The hammer of negativity represents the hurtful things that our parents or peers have said in the past that affect us. No one is immune to words. They can hurt as well as encourage. Stop being mad at yourself. Stop blaming yourself. Stop beating yourself up. And it can change your life for the better. Life is a learning process. Compared to a game of baseball, in baseball, man called the pitcher throws a hard ball over the white plate while the catcher catches the ball. Our negative parents are the pitcher and the devil is the catcher. The batter who hits the baseball with a wooden bat represents us. The baseball, known as the first baseman, the second baseman, the third baseman, are foes that have wronged us. The right fielder, center fielder, left fielder are the bad teachers in our life. As a pitcher, your negative parents throw the ball, and caught by the catcher, the devil, we try to hit the ball. Get to second, we have found the means of solution. Get to third, we have prayed to Christ for help. Hit a home run, and you will have accepted Christ into your heart. Forgiving yourself is the key to dealing with a negative past. To celebrate your your little success as triumph. Pamper yourself with words of encouragement. One of the most difficult people to deal with is the person who excessively is negative. In fact, if newly sober people spend too much time around these individuals, it can be detrimental to their sobriety. The key to be a successful pilgrim in recovery is to understand that the hardships we face in life are there to make us whole and unique person. Negative words only bring you nothing but thoughts of failure and pity. Most thoughts determine our actions, attitudes, and self-image. In reality, the thoughts determine your destiny. We will stumble from time to time, but in true discovery we find the answer. Instead of wondering why we are in certain circumstances, we should be asking, what is Jesus trying to teach me? Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all things your acknowledgement of him, and he will make your path straight. Proverbs 3:5-6. To grasp wholeness, we must grasp grace. Grace is a God-given gift to us by God to empower us in our pilgrimage toward recovery. We must step out in faith and challenge ourselves to what may cause us to change. One thing I see in my peers and from time to time in my poor self-image is the excuses people make. Be a person of purpose, because a person of purpose whom people feel is an honor to be associated with such a person. In the Greek, the word recovery is anastasis, rise from the dead, that should rise, rising again. The ultimate purpose in life is this: live for God and put all other things aside, and good things will follow. The word vulnerability is also ambiguous because it does not distinguish between physical and emotional wounding. The ability to stand up, to grow, to inspire, to criticism is to have discovered the beginning of the pilgrimage toward recovery, being well on the way to success. Nothing is more important than to be criticized and criticized. As you grow and learn to take good positive criticism, you will be able to help others be critical of them, helping them to live whole lives. The key to wholeness is the ability to receive and give criticism. This applies in all aspects of recovery, and as you read the text and do further study, you will begin to see that recovery comes about as we accept our past and learn to grow from there.